before we do the full review here, I'd like to announce the watch of today's video, this Alsta Superautomatic. This is the subject of a giveaway here on the channel made possible by WATCHGAUGE. They are the authorized dealer that sent this in for me to present, and they like to give it away to one of my viewers. So guys, if you're interested in this exact watch that I have in hand, there's a link in the description where you can enter to win the watch. All you're doing is signing up for the WATCHGAUGE newsletter, and you're also entering the contest here. So in a few weeks, we will announce the random winner here on the channel, and we'll get you the Alsta Superautomatic. So you can put it on your wrist. So again, link in the description if you're interested. Now let's do the full review. So let's begin with the dimensions, the specifications, the retail price. I'll place those here on the screen and talk a little bit about the history of the brand. You may not be familiar with Alsta, but they made sport watches in the 1960s and the 1970s. This exact version, this design, the Superautomatic, debuted in 1970, and unfortunately they were one of the many brands, watch brands, that were killed off in the quartz crisis. And it wasn't until 2014 that the company was revived and they started reissuing some of their heritage-inspired designs, but with modern materials and movements. So that's what we have here. This is the Nautoscaph Superautomatic in 38 millimeters. And one of the interesting things about this version was it was kind of made famous in the film, the Steven Spielberg film Jaws, that debuted in 1975 and really was essentially the first summer blockbuster to hit theaters. It was immensely popular. And if you watch the movie, you can see this watch, this design, on the same bracelet configuration worn by the character Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss. So, I mean, it's kind of fun, actually. Next time you watch Jaws, look for this watch. You can see it on screen. Now let's turn the watch over and take a look at the polished case back here. You guys can see there is an etching of a great white shark there, kind of, again, paying tribute to the film that it was featured in. And I don't know if you can really make it out there, but you'll see this is a limited edition. In the center of the case back, you'll see this is number 413 out of 1,975 units. So let me show you this on my wrist. I have a little bit larger wrist than average. Mine are 7.25 inches in circumference. And this watch does not wear small like the 38.3 diameter would suggest. And part of that is the fact that we have kind of beefy lugs here. There is a substantial amount of stainless steel, so you feel the heft on your wrist, and you do feel the height. So we have 13.4 millimeters in height to the aluminum bezel insert here, the bicolor bezel. A quarter of it is done in silver tone, the rest is done in black, but the real height comes in with this box sapphire crystal, which takes the height up to almost 16 millimeters in height. So it has a good aggressive stance on wrist, and I like the wrist presence. The finishing is sharp, and overall, actually, this bracelet is really enjoyable as well. I like the longer links with the holes here. It does have a nice drape on wrist. The clasp could be nicer. It is just kind of a friction fit pressed metal system, but you do get a nice amount of adjustability here, as you guys can see with the 4 micro adjustment holes. There is no dive extension system, and overall it's a really fun, solid watch. And one of my favorite elements is going to be the Loom. The Loom is surprisingly potent and long-lasting. This is a C3 variation, so there's a good amount of initial pop, brightness, and a decent decay rate. So the longevity is actually pretty good. And in natural light, you can see it carries a little bit of a hue, like an ivory hue to it, though it is definitely not the Fauxtina or the ivory Superluminova that you'll see in other watches. This is just slightly off-white in natural light, and then in low light, very sharp. Now let's take a look at some of the dial details here. We have a matte textured dial with white printing. The Loom is printed, and you can see that it is multi-level printed, and that's one of the reasons why the Loom is so potent in low light. This has a modified sword style handset, high polish with the clean bevel running down the middle of each one of those hands, and it's even found on the second hand as well. So let's zoom out and talk about some of the tactile elements. I'll begin with the bezel action. There's a very proud bezel here, a lot of real estate for you to put your fingers on and get good traction. But my version, it feels a bit stiff. And I reached out to John to see, hey, is that normal for these Alsta Superautomatics, or do I just have one that really hasn't been broken in yet? And he said that his is very smooth, and so I likely just have one that's a bit stiff and needs to be broken in. But that was really my only element that I did not enjoy with my week with the watch. The crown action is nice. We have a screw down crown at the 3 o'clock position, hand winding, quick set date in the second position, and then you pull it all the way out and you can hack the movement and set the time. Now the movement is not a Swiss movement. This is a Japanese made movement from Seiko, the NH35, and I know that's going to be a contentious point for some. Some will say there's no way, there's a snowball's chance in HELL that I'm going to spend $1,000 and get an NH35 from Seiko. And I think a lot of you will relate to that. I do expect to see some price complainers in the comment section of the video. But John has told me, John of WATCHGAUGE, the authorized dealer that sent this in for presentation and for giveaway, he said that they sell out whenever they get a batch within a number of hours. So they sell really quickly. They do well for the store. So obviously not everyone thinks they're overpriced or overvalued. And there are people that think that this is well worth the retail price. And I do expect these to sell out. Every year they make 500 of them. So over the course of about 4 years, they will reach their roughly 2,000 number, and they will no longer be available. So if you're interested in the Superautomatic, the Nautoscaph, the JAWS watch, you have a limited time to get one of these watches. Now that brings us to the giveaway. Again, I mentioned it in the intro to the video. WATCHGAUGE is giving away this watch. All you need to do is enter your email to sign up for their newsletter. They don't spam, they don't send a lot of annoying emails or anything like that. So I wouldn't be concerned. You're entering a chance to win the watch, and you're getting notified of other cool releases and announcements from WATCHGAUGE. They carry micro brands. They carry G-Shock. I bought my Bling Master from WATCHGAUGE, so I would definitely enter to win the watch. I actually think I'll have my wife enter, so I have a chance at winning this thing because this is a fun watch. I really have enjoyed my time with it. It's a quirky one. It's a cool one. It definitely has the 1970s vibe and feel, and I would enjoy wearing this on a regular basis. So guys, the link is in the description if you want to enter the giveaway. In a few weeks, John will film the random number generator, the random winner, and I'll announce the winner here on the channel. So thanks for watching. Let me know if I missed anything here in the review. If you'd like me to cover a particular point that I didn't convey very clearly, reach out in the comments or send me a private email. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.